Hey guys, my name is Philip and welcome to Only the Greatest, where we keep fitness simple, fun, and most importantly, effective. Today, we have the perfect lower body workout for you that can be done in 45 minutes or less. So since we're on this time limit for today, I'm gonna keep our warm up real simple. We're pretty much just gonna start our warm up with squats and we're just gonna use the bar. A lot of times I would have, a specific warm up routine, but that does take a little bit longer. And our goal today is to keep this less than 45 minutes. And there's nothing wrong with your warm up just being a lighter version of the workout that you're gonna be doing. Just to get a little stretch in the hamstring, we'll do some inchworms in between these as we work the weight up on the squat before we get to our actual working sets. I like inchworms because get a nice little stretch in the hamstrings, throw a push up at the bottom, even though we're not doing upper body today. Just kind of getting the blood flowing, getting the heart rate up. Still part of our warm up, just kind of working our way up in weight. And as we do this, kind of explain the workout to you. It's very simple. It's actually only 5 exercises. I really like to do supersets, but here, as we're doing these back squats, we're gonna go kind of heavy with them. So we're gonna do back squats by themselves before we get into 2 other supersets. All right, so we got our 2 sets to warm up with. So kind of getting into our first set, we're gonna do 4 sets here of back squat. And we're doing it by itself, no supersets. So anywhere between like 5 and 8 reps. Personally right now, Sean and I both have a hyrox coming up in a couple of months. So my strategy for the most part is reps, when it comes to strength things, they're kind of low, focused on strength. With back squats, you can go up to 12 reps. Anything more than 15 is really tough. If you're not ready for back squats yet, you can definitely stick with the goblet squat, one of my favorite squat variations. You just have the dumbbell in front. So if you're not ready for back squats yet, goblet squats, still a great option. Before we get into our second set here of squats, on our last video that we did, we were talking about the perfect upper body workout that can be done in 45 minutes. One of the comments, I don't remember exactly what it said, but Sean can probably recall. It was like something along the lines of, this is useless because if it's a workout that's good for beginners, how can it also be good for people that are super advanced? That kind of leads me into something that I personally feel is super important to understand about exercise, which is it is very simple, especially when it comes to focusing on the fundamentals. That's what's so nice about the fundamentals and doing them very well. They're great and important for people that are just getting started. And they're also good reminders and very important for people that are very advanced. The difference though, is the way that you do it, right? And as an advanced lifter, you should know that. So someone that's very advanced and someone that's a beginner, squats are a fundamental exercise. Deadlifts, bench press, all those things are great fundamentals that need to be pushed onto beginners so they know how to do it right. And it's also important for people that are super advanced, no matter how long you've been working out, to still do those fundamentals and do them really well and progressively overload them in time. The greatest bodybuilders in the world still do the fundamentals. The greatest athletes in the world still continue to practice the fundamentals and do them perfectly and improve their form day after day, month after month, year after year. So on our 4th set, our last set, take the weight up a little bit. Sticking in that 5 to 8 range. And like I said earlier, I'm doing lower reps for strength stuff right now because of hyrox. The only time I'm doing high reps is if it's an event of hyrox, then I'm gonna, go high reps in more endurance style, but on strength exercises, for the most part, keeping the reps low. But in general, it's always a trade-off, right? The amount of time that you give, whether it's low reps or high reps, because that's what we're kind of talking about today, is how to compress that time into less than 45 minutes. and still get a really good quality workout. If you want to go low reps, great, you just might need a little extra rest time. If you want to go high reps, yeah, your sets takes longer, but you also need less rest time because maybe you're not pushing super, super heavy loads. So it's always a trade-off. At the end of the day, they're both going to take about the same amount of time. So that's it for our squats. We got 4 sets. The next 2 sets are both gonna be supersets where we combine 2 exercises back to back. So our first superset, second total set of the workout, is gonna be a Romanian deadlift. We're gonna use dumbbells and we're gonna superset that with a walking lunge. As we're going into these RDLs, I'm gonna stick in that 5 to 8 rep range for my strength part here. And then on the walking lunges, we are gonna go higher reps. That is an event in the hyrox competition, which I have coming up in a couple of months. So we're gonna take one of those sandbags and we're gonna lunge all the way up and down this piece of turf here, which is about 15 yards or 15 meters, because in hyrox, they use distances, not reps. So we're just gonna be going for the distance of the turf, down and back. Doesn't matter how many reps it takes us. Now, in a situation where you're not training for a specific competition, you could do these body weight, you could do it with dumbbells, you could do it with a barbell, whatever suits your fancy, whatever works for you and your current fitness level. I'm just doing it this way right now because we have a little bit of specificity that we're trying to work on. I've done more walking lunges in the past 2 weeks than the previous 2 years. And I don't want to hear nobody talking about my lunge form either, because one thing that I learned real fast about these endurance style competitions is sometimes doing things the most effective way for hypertrophy is not the best way to do it for performance and actually finishing the race that you signed up for. All right, starting our second set here. We're under 20 minutes, so we got a nice good pace going. We're taking moderate rest breaks as needed, but not overdoing those rest breaks either to make sure that we stay within our time limit. All right, last set here. So on the squats, you remember we did 4 sets. On each of the supersets, we're only gonna be doing 3 of each. So this is our third and final set of this superset. Going into our last superset. Still at less than 30 minutes, so we're looking good.
So Phil, what makes you even want to do hyrox?
I didn't want to. Denver signed up for it. And now I do. Now I'm glad I did. And I'm glad that her friend asked her to do it with her. Now I feel motivated. Now my partner's like a freaking Ironman athlete, so got some work to do. All right, last superset coming up, similar to the RDL, hamstring and glute focus here on the first part. And then the second half, we're gonna be doing a jump squat, really working explosion and power going on there. So on these hip thrusts, we go on one leg at a time to really isolate one side. It's always a good idea whenever you work out, when you're really formulating workouts, to do a nice combination of unilateral, meaning single-sided, and bilateral, both sides of your body working at the same time. We did the RDL, with the Romanian deadlift, a bilateral glute and hamstring exercise, and now we're going into a single leg hip thrust, a unilateral glute and hamstring exercise. And then for the quad focused, we went squats, bilateral, right? And then we went lunges, unilateral. So that's that combination is really what helps you complete a full workout that hits everything that you need to get done each and every time you step in the gym. And haters will say I'm doing body weight, but if you do these right, slow and controlled on the way down, and really squeeze at the top, ooh, 8 reps, ooh, of body weight is pretty tough, especially at the end of the workout. We've already done squats, we've already done RDLs, we've already done all those lunges. We don't need any weight here. And if you can't do these, because they are pretty tough, you could just have your back on the ground, and that would lower the range of motion, making it easier to do. We're doing 8 on the jump squats also, staying in that 5 to 8 rep range. You definitely could do more reps there if you're feeling up to it, but I'm really focused on the power, the explosion of each one. And then also, if you're not up to jumping, if you're not a jumper, you don't feel comfortable jumping, very easy just to squat and then come up on your toes instead of actually jumping. I actually have to come off the ground. We still have a little bit of balance effect there, getting those calves involved as well. We're done. Full lower body, everything you need in a workout. Let's check our time. 36 minutes. Just goes to show you, you can get a lot of work done in a little bit of time. You just have to focus on what you're doing and going with a game plan. So a couple little things to kind of remind you, if you want to be expedited with your workouts, a couple little tips. Streamline your warm-ups, right? It's great to have a long warm-up. Beautiful, love it. But in a situation like this where we're strapped for time, we streamlined our warm-up. We made sure it was still effective. We did 2 sets working up to our working weight. We did some inchworms in between. We streamlined that warm-up. That warm-up only took us like 4 minutes, probably. We wanna shorten our rest times. I know today we did go pretty heavy in that 5 to 8 rep range. As you could see, it wasn't like super, super high RPE, right? So I could minimize my rest times and traded that off for being able to go super, super heavy, right? Last thing, use supersets. So streamline your warm-up, streamline your rest times, utilize supersets, and that's how you can get a lot of work done in a little bit of time. So guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more to come, and we'll see you next time.